Podcast. Presented by XFL2K.com. With your host, Tron Hawkins.
Welcome to This Is XFL Podcast. I'm your host, Tron Hawkins. First off, I know it's been a while since I did this show, and I apologize. Let me tell you what happened. It was kind of looking like that the XFL was going to, announce a coach per week, so I was going to do an episode per week, thinking that, that'd be enough. I didn't want to do too many episodes. I want to, like I did begin with, I'd put out a lot of episodes. I didn't want to thin myself out. I work as a respiratory therapist. I'm with my family a lot of times, so I didn't want to, spread myself too thin and do multiple episodes. I was like, I'm afraid to do an episode and then a coach get hired after another one. So I waited. The original plan was for me to do a catch-up episode today. I was going to do a catch-up episode about all the news that has came out with XFL about the presidents and the coordinator stuff getting hired, and I plan on doing that next week. But yesterday, the AAF folded. And this is not a bashing episode by any means. I'm going to say some stuff, negative stuff about them, but not in a bad way. Just, stuff that happened. This hurts everybody. This hurts football fans. I got AAF DVR because I'm always busy. Trust me, I'm going to be watching XFL live, though. I haven't watched not many of the games, but I'm going to keep it on my PlayStation View, and I'm going to go back and watch the games. I need my football fix. I'm going to get sad knowing there ain't no championship game at the end, or no big game at the end, or no Super Bowl. But I will watch it. I'm going to leave it on my DVR, because that's history right there. That's a league. But what happened yesterday, it hurts the coaches. Hopefully people like Spurrier and Singletary and some of them find jobs. Mike Martz, especially in St. Louis, in the XFL. Steve Spurrier said don't count him out on doing that. But it don't only just hurt the coaches, it hurts the players. Let's think about the players that this was their second chance. Look at Trent Richardson. He wasn't getting a lot of rushing yards, but hell, he had double-digit touchdowns already. And we'll talk about some of the players I think will be good in the XFL here in a few minutes. And, this ain't getting talked about a lot. Let's think about the podcast, the AAF podcast people. People like the Shipyard. People like Crown Loyal. We got the Express podcast. I can't remember the name of them. I apologize. The All Aboard AAF crew. These people that do their podcast, like I do, like This Is XFL show. People that do websites like XFL 2K or XFL board. For the AAF, they don't have nothing to do now. Like, they lost their thing. And as XFL fans, I like to think it's something, if we were competing against each other next year and our league folded, that the AAF fans would be like, look, we're sorry this happened to y'all. You don't deserve it. And, the on-field stuff wasn't bad. This is what happened. The AAF story is simple. They took money from the wrong person to begin with, and the guy backed out. And then they took money from the devil the second time. Tom Dundon is a piece of shit. He made players who played for him pay, and I'm getting this later too, pay for their own way home. Players came to the hotel from practice yesterday with their shit waiting for them in the lobby because they had to leave. They couldn't stay in the hotel anymore. After a long practice, they had to figure out how the hell they was going to get home. That's bullshit. That is bullshit. Tom Dundon's an idiot. One, who the fuck, and excuse my language, wants to get a hockey team in Carolina? Seriously. Let me tell you, the XFL had a good money plan to begin with. And I don't mean this in a bad way. This ain't a bashing episode. Vince is the only one putting money in it. He's the only one that can pull the plug. Think about that. He learned the first time. Last time was a 50-50 split with NBC. When NBC withdrew after they lost money, Vince wanted to keep on, but there wasn't no money left in it, and he couldn't find nobody to put on TV. If the NBC would have stayed, we'd still be talking about the XFL maybe for another season or two after that. What happened was they took money from the wrong guy. The guy took it under, I think, false pretenses. He gave them money, under false pretenses. They thought, Bill Politti even said this, they thought that he would put in enough money to keep the league going to the end of the year. They can pay off their creditors. Him and Eversol thought that. No. What he did was he took the money, and he knew that if he didn't get a deal with the NFLPA to be their minor league, he was going to take the money from it. Why put that much money into it just to take it away? He didn't just take away jobs. He took away something people enjoyed. He took football away from football fans. And even though we're XFL fans, and if you're listening to this, I'm sure you are, we should be pissed off for the AAF. We should, stand up for them too as our friends. We had a lot of back and forth with them about how the AAF's better, the XFL's better. It don't matter right now. What matters is their league is gone, and it's not gone because, they didn't have fans. They didn't have a lot of fans of the game stuff. They might not have a lot of people watching, but they had diehard. The fans that were fans. And for that, we should stand up with them and go, you know what? We're with y'all. We are with y'all. We've been through this before in 2001. Maybe not to the public, the public way that this has gone down. People seen the Wild on the Wall last weekend. We thought it was possible. Here's an idea. You had 2 weeks left in the regular season, 2 weeks left playoffs. Pay the money and let them finish the season with some dignity. Orlando could probably beat the Giants or somebody. I mean, maybe not, but they would give them a game. Like one of the lower end NFL teams. I think Orlando could give them money for the money. I think they could. Okay, we should have knew they was in trouble when they moved the game from Vegas to Frisco, Texas. We should have knew then. We should have known. But we want to see a championship game. I think we should have seen a championship game it would have been Orlando. I believe Orlando and San Antonio. We wanted to see it. I don't watch the AAF that much, but I already planned on watching the playoffs. Like I've already planned on it, just to see what happens. Because I love championship games and stuff. I mean, I do. I love stuff like Super Bowl and WrestleMania and the WrestleMania championship game. Stuff like that. Always loved it. Final Four, World Series. So I'd have watched it. But the fact this guy comes in, gives money, gives hope, lied to Ebersol and Poland. You can't convince me otherwise. And just pulled the plug for no reason. Even the NFL guys was like, why did you do that for? Like, even the NFL people was kind of surprised. Like, why do this? Dundon, I know you ain't gonna listen to this. Because I doubt you even know how to work a fucking phone, you idiot. But, why do that? So let me read a couple articles. I'll quote the people. I'll give them credit, of course. This is from The Athletic. It's by Daniel Popper. Look it up. It's called Complete and Utter Chaos. A look inside the final days of the AAF. They followed the Atlanta Legends. They returned, Tuesday afternoon, to their Cortland Marriott, after they went to the practice at the Milton High School. There was their hotel and living quarters. It was a hotel, and it started living quarters and its training facility. Meetings was held in the hotel rooms and all that stuff. They worked down the rehab center and stuff like that. At 12:41, the news broke on social media with a tweet from Pro Football Talk. All of the AAF football operations will be suspended in the next few hours per sources with knowledge of the situation. League is not folding, but it's heading that way. Not long after that, the Legends players would get notifications on alerts on their phone. 1 minute they were pursuing their football dreams, the next they were jobless, with no information about exactly what was transpiring. These people, they signed 3-year contracts. So they just assumed that they was good for the next 3 years. Like, this is their dream. Let's be honest, it's pro football. It might not be the NFL, but it was their second chance to get there. Everybody deserves a second chance. And they had theirs taken away from them from a egomaniac. A billionaire with money. Players started looking at each other in disbelief. Could this really be happening? 15 minutes later, they was called into a team meeting in a large multi-purpose room on the first floor. Legends General Manager Bill Devaney, sorry if I said that wrong, stood up in front of the team and relayed what he knew. Team personnel was scheduled to get an email at 5 with more details. Until then, everyone had to simply wait and see. Coaches and staffers received the email at 5 p.m., but none of the players received it. The players didn't get to see that they was getting fired. Here's what the letter read. Unfortunately, after careful consideration, the board has decided to suspend operations of the Alliance American Football effective immediately. As part of this process, we expect to keep a small staff on hand to seek new investment capital and restructure our business. Should those efforts prove successful, we look forward to working with many of you on Season 2. Why the hell would they have a Season 2 when Season 1 couldn't get finished? As follow-up to this communication, we will reach out to the personnel who will be involved in that continuation effort. For those employees whom we do not contact individually to discuss an ongoing role, your employment is terminated Wednesday, April 3rd, which is today, 2019, and you will be paid through that date. All the players got an impromptu email at 4:30 thanking them for enrolling in a tax-free benefit account, a health insurance program for employees who have either been terminated or those who work hours that have been reduced. As of late Tuesday night, alleged players still hadn't been officially informed of their contract terminations. They didn't know if they would be allowed to spend the night in the hotel or not. It would appear that they would have to travel back. It would appear that their travel back home would not be paid for, which is bullshit. Injured players would have to file for workers' comp in the coming days and weeks. This is a shit show. Dundon took over a league that needed some money, purchased it pretty much, and then just ran it into the ground. Granted, without him, it probably wouldn't be alive anyway, but he could at least help the players get back home. That's bullshit. They waited for a team meeting Wednesday morning to learn their fates. There, they finally learned that they had been fired. It's complete and utter chaos, a source said. The AAF is not responding to a request for a comment. An email arrived in the players' inbox at 10:47 Wednesday morning, detailing specific health and unemployment insurance as well as tax forms. Thank you for all your amazing contributions and efforts to date, the AAF's human resource team wrote. We are here to support it through the process. It's really just a sense of awe, another source said. This possibility was always on the horizon, it says. League Chairman Tom Dundon, owner of NHL Carolina Hurricanes. Fuck you, Tom. Invested $250 million in the AAF in February, told USA Today last week that discontinuing the league was an option if the NFL Players Association didn't commit to giving the AAF young players. The way he said, if they couldn't be NFL's developmental, there's no sense for them being there. That said, a source said the players and teams didn't expect it to happen so abruptly. 6 days ago, the Athletics spent a day with the legends to gather behind the scenes and look inside the world of the players, coaches. Now it serves as a disheartening testament to the opportunities and hopes Dundon smashed the smithereens with one swift decision. He was the board of directors. It was nobody else's decision. Eversol and them was even like trying to sell the XFL to Vince and please buy this, help us. And Vince said no. Dundon didn't take into consideration families that got uprooted to play football. He didn't take into consideration the dreams of these players, the coaches, all this stuff, the fans. He was like, you know what? I'm done with this new toy. It's not what I thought it was. I'm going to take it back. Fuck it. And that's BS. It was BS what he did. So, another story, AAF, NBC put out, CBS put out, which was a home. What went wrong and what happened next following the league's sudden shutdown. The AAF had potential, it said, to succeed. The first month saw a lot of rough, subpar football because teams were still developing chemistry and timing. You know, they tried to slap this league together to get ahead of the XFL. Let's be honest. AAF fans know that, so y'all can be honest with me. That, you know, it was kind of rushed to compete with XFL, and I don't blame Charlie for trying. You got to get a jump on these players. And hopefully a lot of these players get in the XFL, they deserve it. At least even the NFL. But on the field, product started taking off, you know, around midway. Games were more exciting. Overall quality of play was improving because they had time to gel. Kind of like the XFL. The first few games was awful, and by the end, you know, there's some pretty good football being played. Ultimately, the system was working, as is evident in the fact that they were players emerging who are good enough to play on Sundays. It just needed time, it says. Dundon wasn't willing to give that time for the reasons that only he knows. The AAF and NFLPA were in talks to use practice squad players in the AAF, developing them in the spring, so they were better prepared and in shape for the XFL training camps. Though logistical hurdles remained about player safety and future contract, both sides agreed in agreement that that deal could be made at some point in time. That apparently wasn't quick enough for Dundon, who perfectly rushed what could have been amounted to years of negotiating with the NFLPA to a few weeks. Anyone with even a rudimentary knowledge of NFL knows that this kind of stuff takes time because there's so much red tape to, you know, get through. The way the NFL collective bargaining agreement is structured, as soon as AAF and NFLPA could have paired, was not for another couple of years. he didn't want to wait. He didn't want to, do it by the book. He wanted to rush through it, make some money because he's a fucking greedy fucktard, and get it now. He wanted a now, me thing, and he wasn't ready to wait. But at the end of the day, it was Dundon's money. In this case, his $70 million that he was eating. And he is able to make the calls despite pushback from AAF CEO Charlie Ebersol and head of football Bill Polian. Numerous people inside the AAF from the front office personnel to coaches expressed how utterly blindsided they are at Tuesday's news that all football operations will be suspended immediately. Dundon's threats to potentially shut down the league as well as laying off employees came without warning of consolation for those who's contracted to work under Dundon. As of last weekend, week 8 of the AAF season, the general feeling was that calls for the concern had passed and the business would continue on as usual. Then, Monday, Dundon reiterated that he would act on the future of the league in earnest. One AAF general manager told CBSSports.com on Tuesday afternoon that he had no idea what was going on. CBSSports.com was ultimately told that Dundon had a different vision for the league when he took control of it, other than people inside the AAF, which was one of the many factors leading to his decision to shut it down. He wanted it to be developmental. He wanted it to work with the NFL, I'm sorry. I think the reason why he took the money in because he thought he can get in with the big wigs of the NFL and, potentially maybe buy a team one day. I mean, it's just a theory. He thought he could rub shoulders with some NFL guys, and that's probably the best way to do it. He didn't want to wait, though. He wanted it now because he's greedy. He wanted a deal now, and knowing that the NFL couldn't. At the end of the day, he is a hockey owner, and he probably runs that team like shit, too. For those Carolina fans, Hurricane fans out there, which I doubt, if there's any fans, though, even NHL fans, if there's any fans out there, let me know how much of a shit show you think Carolina Hurricanes is. He had no business going near football. He had none. I know, and people want Vince. Oh, Vince McMahon don't know about football. He knows business, though. This man obviously don't. I mean, he's just a tech guy, and that owns a fucking hockey team in the South. And I own beachfront property in Idaho. I mean, come on. He had no business going near football. He had no idea what he was doing. I mean, some people say Charlie Ebersol might not either, but he learned from his dad. And that's why he had Bill Polian, Hines Ward, and all them. And hopefully they come to the XFL. We need more football minds. His idea, let the XFL secede to stick it to Dundon. Let the XFL secede to show people, one, spring football and work, and two, that the XFL, the AAF might have been on something too. It can work. This sucks for the XFL in a way because we, as XFL fans, know that it's different from the AF, but casual fans don't know that. Why would casual fans get into it going, oh, well, I want to get excited for this, but is it going to be here next week? Honestly, that's why I don't even watch real TV other than sports and wrestling. That ain't never going to get canceled. I hate getting the TV shows that get canceled next week. That's what a lot of these AAF fans probably feel like. This is Who's to Blame. I'm just reading this story again on CBS Sports. Let me give you a writer. It is by... Please have an easy name. Ben Kuchival. Thank you, Ben. He said there's not one person who carries 100% of the blame, but Dundon, Ebersol, and Polian have taken it in the teeth on the radio shows and social media, and to be sure, there's blame to be where it's merited. Dundon shut the damn thing down. There's a major question as to why he would invest so much money into only to back out less than 2 months later, aside from the fact that it's his money and he can do whatever the hell he wants with it. Which is a huge fact. People would have jobs today if he didn't decide to shut it down. Therein lies a point that often gets lost in the macro outlook on success of failure. The people on the lower rungs of the ladder often get it worse of it. Multiple AAF coaches told CBSSports.com that the biggest regret they have are not for themselves, but for the assistant, video, training, PR, front office, and all the other unnamed staff members who stopped their lives to give the AAF a shot under the premise that they had at least a couple years of job security. Think about this. People like Brad Tillis and Michael Vick left before the season started. It makes you wonder, and I wish we could talk to them. Did they know something? Like, did they know that this was going to be a shit show? Is that why they left? Because they're like, look, this is only going to be around for 2 months. Why am I here? Why do I want to put my name on something that's going to fail? According to a letter written by the AAF board, Dundon, final paychecks will be given this week and health insurance will run through the end of the month, and then that's it. What an asshole. And if Ebersol had to do it all over again, he would likely think twice about whether he wants to yield that much control over the company and so on, no matter how much money they can invest. One thing that doesn't make sense is noticing that the AAF was rushed. This had been a company for 3 years, and it just went to market with an on-field product this spring. That's BS. That is BS. There was no way this was in discussion before the XFL. The way they talked in that lawsuit, go check out my episode a couple episodes ago, Project Phoenix. I think some of that was BS. Let's be honest. However, the decision-making at the top between the execution of it all and the differences of vision is what resulted in the thing going south. Was there a financial crisis? Is that why the AAF yielded so much power to Dundon? Yes and no, it says. The idea that the AAF couldn't make payroll without him was false. There was money in the bank for employees in week 2. Around the time Dundon agreed to inject the league with cash. The payroll issue was, and hold your office space jokes please, a glitch in the system that resulted in some players not receiving their checks on payday like they normally got. However, one GM told CBSSports.com later that the errors in the system had been fixed. The timing of this issue, coupled with Dundon's arrival, created a juicy narrative that wasn't quite how it was portrayed. That being said, Dundon was indeed brought in because of concerns about long-term liquidity. I'm sorry, I suck at this. As a successful businessman with a variety of ventures, including ownership of the Carolina Hurricanes, he was attractive option for the AAF. With $250 million, which is what Dundon initially pledged to infuse, he would give the league 3 to 4 years of stability it had promised its employees. He was brought in so that the AAF could keep their promise that they would be around for jobs. And if you think about it, Dundon made them look like liars, and there's people out of a job right now. The fact that Dundon was needed, the term godsend was used by sources more than once, certainly raises legitimate questions about the league cash flow and expenses. CBSSports.com was told by a source that multiple vendors had not been paid when Dundon arrived. As part of the agreement, Dundon was named the chairman of the AAF board, but in reality, he was the board. There wasn't no board before he got there. He agreed to give them money if he had the power. He bought his own power in the league. This said, it said that Dundon essentially by the AAF to obtain app technology. It says, let's put this rumor and other rumors to bed. CBSSports.com was told that Dundon did not become controlling owner of the AAF to essentially steal the technology in the league's app that could be used down the line for betting or fantasy football purposes. For all that Dundon controls, he does not have the intellectual ownership of that asset. Furthermore, the idea that XFL was involved with the AFL's demise is a stretch, to say the least. XFL owner Vince McMahon has a history with Ebersol's father, Dick, from their days at NBC Universal. The two families being co-hosts in XFL and AAF were never meant to be competing leagues. In fact, the source close to AAF told CBSSports.com that two leagues had been in discussions about a possible merger. It says, can the AAF been saved? It seems unlikely, but it is possible. It said that it did say the door would be left open for a possibility comeback. This sucks. I see a lot of backlash to Dundon, and he deserves it. On Twitter, on Facebook, and all that stuff. Bill Polian talked about how just disappointed he was in this whole situation. How he thought that how they kind of got hoodwinked. How they got hoodwinked by this man, and I agree. They got screwed over by this guy. They went in there thinking it was going to be one thing, and he gave them something else. They thought he was along for the ride. He thought that they thought he was going to be what they needed. That he was going to, he liked their strategy, and he wanted to go a different direction. He wanted to be a minor league for the NFL or nothing. This is the XFL statement on the AAF. We have said all along, the success or failure of other leagues will have no impact on our ability to deliver high-quality, fast-paced professional football. The XFL is well-funded, and Vince put in a shitload more money. It's crazy. He put in money right around this time this rumor started. He's like, look at me, I have money. We have we have time for kickoff to execute our business plan, and we will soon announce a national broadcast and cable schedule that makes it easy for fans to find our games consistently every weekend when we will launch next February. There's no doubt that avid football fans want more, and we're excited to get it going in 2020. It also says, Darren Rovell said, sources say that the XFL is interested in acquiring a variety of AAF assets. Team names, going to the cities, I think it's a great idea. I think it's a wonderful idea, especially San Antonio and Orlando. San Antonio was rocking the Alamo Dome. WWE has history there. So I think it's a good idea, maybe to think about it. Team names, stuff like that. I think we need to get these coaches in there. I think we need Steve Spurrier. I know Tampa's kind of taken. We definitely need Mike Martz in St. Louis. We need him there. St. Louis wants him there. I think it'd be a great idea. Get that happen. All right, let's talk about a couple players. Not quick. XFL needs quarterbacks. Let's get Garrett Gilbert. He was leading the league in yards, passing yards. I think he'd be great. And Orlando was just killing it. They had 3,109 yards. Let's get him. Let's get Walford, Perez, Woodrum, Woodside. That's good players. Let's get the main guy I want to see, Charles Johnson, who was leading the league in receiving 687 yards, and Rashad Ross, who was just a home run threat for the Hot Shots. Let's get them guys in there. And let's give these guys a third chance. That's how I look at it. We got more coaches, more players now to choose from the XFL. And we got more fans. I want to welcome the AAF fans. If y'all want to watch XFL, you're more than welcome. We're gonna be friendly with y'all. We welcome y'all at home, open arms. Kind of like y'all been misplaced. We're gonna take y'all in. Again, I'm sorry this happened for y'all. That's bullshit. Dundon's an asshole, and y'all should keep tweeting them. The way I look at it. If you have a podcast of them, if you want to keep making podcasts, make one for the XFL. You don't have to, but we have a good community here. And we like to welcome y'all here. And y'all can go check out XFL2K.com's page. Message him. If y'all are a writer, if y'all are writers for y'all's AAF blogs, we need people at XFL2K to write for us, some stories and stuff. Get with him. Join our XFL2K Discord page. There's some good conversation going on about AAF. And XFL and March Madness and all that good stuff. It's just a fun page to hang out with us. Get to know our community. We're not all just assholes. Like y'all probably thought we were. So next week I'll make an episode catching up by all the XFL news, all the presidents, coordinators, all that good stuff. I just feel like I needed to make this. I know it ain't really XFL related, but it is spring football related. And I just wanted to, send my condolences to AAF's, players and fans. Pray for the families, that gotten that uprooted and moved for a chance at their dream, and they get crushed by one guy's massive ego. Follow me on Twitter at XFL Podcast, Facebook at XFL Podcast. Check out XFL2K.com. His YouTube page as well. He'll be doing the pre-shows, hopefully. Hopefully they come out with some. Hopefully he gets to go to the Houston coach reveal. We're doing big things over at XFL 2K, and like I said, I'm going to try to come out with more podcasts from his coaches and news and stuff. If not, I'll make a catch up episode every couple of weeks or so. It's busy time. Everybody's busy, but I'm ready for 2020. I know y'all are too. Again, it sucks for everybody at the AAF, but keep your head up. Dundon will get what's coming to him. Thank you, and have a good night.